Hello, ladies and gents. Today, our lesson will be about indirect speech, sometimes called reported speech. So, indirect speech is essentially reporting what someone said to you without quoting them. So, essentially, we remove the quotation marks. For example, he said that I have lost my umbrella. When we change it to indirect speech, it becomes he said that he had lost his umbrella. We did remove the quotation marks, but we also edited the sentence. To grasp the concept of indirect speech, I want you to think about two people talking. We have here person one and person two. Person one is saying something to person two. Then said person two takes what person one said and reports it to person three. In that case, he would have to change the direct speech of person one to indirect speech and report it to person two. This happened already, right? So indirect speech usually happens in the past. I want you to think about changing things to the past. Let's start one by one. What happens to pronouns in indirect speech? If in the sentence the person used I, it changes to he or she. For example, I have lost my umbrella becomes he said that he had lost his umbrella. If it's me, it changes to him or her. My is his or her. Mine, the possessive, becomes his or hers. And we changes to they. For example, we haven't traveled before becomes they said that they hadn't traveled before. All right? What happens to time in indirect speech? Today changes to that day, and tonight changes to that night. Similarly, for yesterday, we go to the day before, which was yesterday, but in direct speech, we change it to the day before. Tomorrow is the next or the following day. For week or year, if it's the next week or the next year, it becomes the following week or the following year. If it's the last week or the last year, it becomes the previous week or the previous year. Or we can also use the year before. All right? In cases of questions, we change it to ask, questioned, or inquired. But we remove the question mark. There will be no question mark in the sentence. For example, if it's where is she going, it becomes he asked where she was going, full stop. We use a full stop instead. All right? But what if there's no question word ask? For example, in the question, you don't have your what, where, who, when, etc. For example, a question can say, is anyone there? In that case, we use if or whether. Then it becomes he asked whether anyone was there, or he asked if anyone was there. Coming to the bulk of it, what happens to tenses in indirect speech? As I said before, I want you to think about indirect speech as more past or more in the past. So if you have a present simple tense, we change it to a past simple tense. And if we have a past simple tense, we change it to a past perfect tense. All right? If we have the present continuous, we change it to a past continuous. And the past continuous changes to the past perfect continuous. Present perfect changes to past perfect. But what about past perfect itself? If we have a sentence in the past perfect, it stays in the past perfect. What about your modals? For example, your will, can, shall, may, and must. Will turns to would. Can to could, shall to should, may to might, and must can stay as must or change to had to. But what if we have our sentence already in the past? For example, your would, your could, and your should, and maybe even your might. In that case, they stay as would, could, should, or might. Giving you an example for past perfect. If the sentence says, or the direct speech says, I had taken English before, then it becomes she said that she had taken English lessons before. Had taken stays as had taken. All right? What about commands, exclamations, and wishes? For commands, we can say told or warned. For example, if somebody says to Tom, "Lie down, Tom," it becomes he told Tom to lie down. Exclamations can be exclaimed. For example, "What a dreadful idea," or "How dreadful," changes to he exclaimed that it was a dreadful idea. How about when somebody calls you a liar? It changes to he called me a liar. Called me a liar. All right? There's also wishes such as good luck or Merry Christmas. It becomes he wished me good luck or he wished me Merry Christmas. There's also one thing that you have to note: universal truths. Universal truths do not change when you're changing them from direct to indirect speech. For example, if we have the sentence, he said there are countless stars in the sky. If we change it to indirect speech, the sentence stays the same. It becomes, he said that there are countless stars in the sky. We do not change the tenses. We do not change the commands or the fact that there are many stars in the sky. All right? Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. Goodbye.